Hey guys, it's Greg with Apple Explained. Thank you for joining this week's live stream. We had quite a few people. We had like 30 people early today. I appreciate that. I tried to get the stream set up like a half hour early and to schedule it for 9 p.m. just because there were some things I wanted to figure out. Some technical difficulties that if you were not watching the past 2 weeks live streams, you may not know about. But I was having an issue with the new YouTube format because if you didn't notice, YouTube is forcing everyone onto their new website. It has a new design, but the problem is the settings page has also changed. And I wasn't able to access a feature, actually two features that I used on the old website on the new version of the website. So I was trying to figure out how to access those capabilities so I could adjust the settings of this live stream. I figured it out. It's a little more complicated than it used to be, but now I have a direct link to that page saved as a bookmark on my iPad, so I don't have to mess with going on my computer to change the settings for my live streams. If you've never watched one of these live streams before, I'm Greg with Apple Explained, and tonight you can ask me questions about Apple, you can ask me questions about YouTube, about my personal life, you can ask me anything you want. The problem is we already have over 100 people watching this live stream. Last weekend, I got up to 300 people. I can't answer everyone's question. So if you want to get your question answered for sure, there's two things you can do. Number one, you can join the Discord server. There is an Apple Explained Discord. You have to be at least 13 years old. It's completely free. Daniel, one of our moderators who is with us tonight, thank you, Daniel, for being here. And I think Derpy is also here tonight. There are two moderators. He'll post a link to that Discord in the live chat. You click the link, it's an invitation, you accept the invitation, you're part of the Discord server, and then after this stream ends, you can go over to the server, ask your question. I will be over there after the stream ends at 10 p.m. Eastern time. You can ask one question that I will for sure answer on Discord. And then I'll make an exclusive Q&A video that I post over there. Oh, so that's the first way. The second way to get your question answered is to send a super chat, which is a donation through the live chat box that'll highlight your question, it'll prioritize it, and then I will answer it. Okay. All right, let me start answering some questions. Ibrahim Abueda said, are you still making a video on the unboxing and review of the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro? That's a good question. I actually started on that video. I know I mentioned it. I started on that video when before I actually received the smart keyboard, which I actually posted a photo on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's just Apple Explained. I posted a photo when I got the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro, which I love, by the way. The problem is this month I have like 8 videos that have to go out by the end of the month because of sponsorship contracts. So I have 8 sponsored videos I have to do. And those videos take at least a couple days per video. And this, if I were to do an unboxing and review of the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro, that would also take at least a couple days, maybe even 3 days, because I have to film the whole thing, which is a whole nother process in terms of making a video, so it takes even longer. I have to prioritize the sponsored videos so that I don't break any contracts. And that means I may not be able to get that video out this month. I might make it next month. But I do want to make that video eventually because there are so many things I want to say about it. There's so many details. I've been waiting for this accessory, ever since I had an iPad back in 2011. So I really do want to talk about it in a video. Also, I want to mention, if you do join the Discord and you are under 13, you will be banned, and then you can never join the Discord server again. So if you're under 13, please do not join because that means you can never join once you do turn 13. Flying Night Slasher said, why do you do Apple stuff? I've always been interested in Apple ever since I was a kid. It all started, how old? I was, I think, 12 years old and I was at a friend's birthday party. He had the 5th generation iPod. We also called it the iPod Video. It was the first iPod that had video capability. You could watch music videos, movies, TV shows. And I used it. It was the first time I ever used an iPod, and at that moment I fell in love. I thought it was the most amazing device I had ever used in my life. And I wanted one not because I listened to music. I really didn't listen to music. I just wanted it because of the way it worked. It was so impressive and fascinating that I wanted to own one. And then from then on, I just did research about Apple. I fell in love with, the products, Steve Jobs, Jonathan Ive. And ever since then, I've been learning more and more about the company. All right, we have a super chat from Will Catcher 2. Thank you, Will, for being here tonight. I appreciate that $5 super chat. Will said, what is your opinion of Tim Cook? Ooh, sorry guys, my nose is itchy. What is your opinion of Tim Cook and his leadership at Apple? Like, why did he take away one-to-one training? Look, overall, I think Tim Cook has done an incredible job. I mean, just look at where Apple has gone from 2011 when he took over to, or I shouldn't say he took over. I mean, technically, Steve Jobs appointed him to that position. So keep in mind, it was Steve Jobs' decision to have Tim Cook be CEO. But in the last 9 years, Apple has gone from a successful company. I mean, they were absolutely successful in 2011. The iPhone had been out for 4 years. It was becoming very popular. But today, I mean, Apple, they've passed, they were the first trillion-dollar company. They're the most valuable company in America. They've created some unbelievably popular products in just the time that Tim Cook has been CEO. Keep in mind, he's only been CEO for 9 years. We've had the Apple Watch, which is still dominating the smartwatch market, even though it's been out for 5 years. Because if you compare that to the iPhone, by 2012, when the iPhone had been out for 5 years, Android was already taking off. Android was already beginning to dominate the market, probably had a bigger market share than Apple by that time. Smartwatch market, we are not seeing any competition. I mean, I think Samsung just moved up to the 3rd place in terms of market share for the smartwatch market, but still, it's not even approaching Apple. Apple has a 55% share. So anyway, we have that incredibly strong product performing very well. We've had the AirPods, which is like, I don't think the AirPods can be compared to any Apple product ever, because there has never been an Apple product where the first generation was released and it spread like wildfire. Even the iPhone, maybe you could say the iPad, maybe the iPad and AirPods. But Steve Jobs was still around for the iPad. So I think AirPods, incredible product. So overall, I think Tim Cook is doing an incredible job. You can always nitpick and say, okay, why did he do this? Why did he do that? And it's kind of hard to explain if you're not looking at the overall picture. Because what Apple's doing, like with one-to-one, as you mentioned, with the Apple Store, is they don't want to charge for training. What they do is they set you up with a product right off the bat, and they kind of help walk you through any questions you might have with an iPhone or iPad right when you buy it, which I think is good because they're giving you the service you need right when you need it. But in terms of like workshops and training sessions, that is now called Today at Apple. And I made a whole video about that called Why Apple Created Today at Apple. You can go and watch that and it'll probably explain why they got rid of one-to-one, even though I don't mention one-to-one explicitly. But one-to-one used to be a $100 a year service that you paid for to get training one-on-one with an Apple associate. But I think the experience right now is much better. You can go to an Apple store for free and watch these Today at Apple workshops and sessions where you can learn about products and how to use different apps and software. And I think it's a more user-friendly thing. I think it's better because it's free, it's more accessible. I think that's part of it. All right, I just missed a few more super chats, I think. Second super chat is from Sometimes Uploading. Thank you, Sometimes Uploading, for that $5 super chat. They said, do you think Apple will make a pair of smart glasses? I don't know. I mean, the rumors certainly make it seem like they will. There have been so many rumors that Apple is making at least some sort of headset for, I guess, augmented reality, although usually headsets are used for virtual reality. Maybe it'll do both. But if Apple is going to do some sort of smart glasses product, they really have to execute it correctly. I mean, Google tried to do it with Google Glass and it failed. It was not executed correctly. Just like when Samsung tried to be first to market in the smartwatch industry. Samsung was actually the first large company, large tech company to make a smartwatch, and it failed. It did not do well at all. Actually, I believe Best Buy said the product had a return rate of about 35%. That means 35% of people who bought the first Samsung Galaxy Gear smartwatch, over a third of them returned it, which is incredible. I mean, you don't see return rates like that for any product. So that is the key, because the point is, when Apple tried, Apple wasn't worried about being the first company to make a smartwatch. They were worried about being the first company to make a good smartwatch, because there is a difference. If you make a product just because you're the first one to make it, doesn't mean people are going to like it. Doesn't mean it delivers a good user experience. Apple always waits. They are never trying to be the first to do something. So it's possible that they'll make glasses, but if they do, I'm really interested to see how they implement the concept. All right, we have another super chat. Tim Mark, thank you for that 15 Hong Kong dollar super chat. I appreciate that, Tim. There was no question with it, but I appreciate the support. Boeing said, what do you think about the new MacBook Pro 13-inch? Yeah, it's interesting, because I was such a big fan of the MacBook Air that they recently updated and lowered the price on. I'm a really big fan of it. I love the MacBook Air design, the battery life. It has the Retina display. It's portable. It's lighter than the 13-inch MacBook Pro. The thing is, yes, the MacBook Pro delivers like 2 times better performance, almost 2 times better performance than the baseline MacBook Air. But that's because the base model MacBook Air has dual core instead of a quad core processor, which is what I believe the baseline MacBook Pro 13-inch has. But if you were to update the baseline MacBook Air to the quad core processor, because you can equip the MacBook Air with a quad core, it's only $100 more, but you're getting much better performance. And I think it's approaching the performance of the 13-inch MacBook Pro. The problem, which I know people have talked about, and I might make a video about it, is with the MacBook Air's thermal throttling. So the MacBook Air is not as thermally proficient, I guess you could say, as the 13-inch MacBook Pro. The fan design, the ventilation system is not as efficient as the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which means, yes, maybe it can perform very well, but the MacBook Air will throttle that performance if it runs too hot, which probably wouldn't be a problem with the 13-inch MacBook Pro. So it's just hard for me to recommend. It's very hard for me to recommend because we're getting into very subtle territory, because there's a lot of overlap now between the MacBook Pro 13-inch and the MacBook Air, and we've never really had that much overlap before. So in terms of my recommendations, unless you need performance for some reason, but keep in mind the MacBook Air can still perform really well. I just saw a video where a YouTuber had a quad-core MacBook Air, and they were doing 4K video editing with it. So it's very capable. It would be hard for me to recommend the 13-inch MacBook Pro unless you really want the better speakers, or you want the touch bar, or if that bit of extra performance is just so important to you. Creeper Gaming said, I have about $500 and I'm in the market to buy new wireless earbuds. I want to save a lot of money. Do you think I should go for the everyday E25 earbuds or regular AirPods? You have $500. I can buy you basically anything in the market. I don't know wireless earbuds that go higher than $500. You said, I want to save a lot of money. So you're saying you have $500, but you don't want to spend all of it on only AirPods or wireless earbuds? Look, I would recommend, I'm really particular. When it comes to earbuds, I'm very particular about the comfort even AirPods, when it comes to AirPods, the AirPods Pro version, I don't like how it feels in my ear. It's not very secure. If I'm smiling, talking, laughing, eating, if I'm like moving my jaw in any way, they will slowly slide out. I have to keep pushing them in, pushing them in, pushing them in. It's very annoying. So I really only use them when I need that noise cancellation, or if I'm just like walking outside, not doing anything with my mouth. So I never really look outside of Apple because I found, even though AirPods Pro aren't the most comfortable for me, they are the most comfortable in-ear earbud I've ever tried, other than the ones Apple's made, the wired version that Apple made back in, I think, 2011 or 2012. So I wouldn't recommend like Beats or anything like that. I mean, I guess you can look at Sony. It's up to you. You just have to go try them on. It's really hard to look at review videos when it comes to earbuds because so much of the experience is how they feel in your ear. And I prefer the standard AirPods. I think they fit the best. They still sound pretty good. And even in like medium noisy environments, I don't have to turn it up too loud to hear the music. So I would recommend going out and if you want to save money, always buy used. Go on eBay, go on swappa.com, look at used versions of whatever you're buying and you can save money that way. Some random gamer said, could you do a video on the history of Apple accessories in general? Yeah, I guess I could. I just don't know how interesting that would be because there's not much of a like story in terms of history of Apple accessories. You would have to kind of focus on one accessory in particular, like history of the Apple Pencil, history of, I don't know, the Apple keyboard or Mighty Mouse, something specific where there's like a story involved. Because if you're just jumping around randomly from a keyboard to a cover case for an iPad to an Apple Pencil, it doesn't really make sense. But what I want to do a video on is the MacBook Pro wheels. I made a video about the stand, the $1,000 Apple stand, and that was last year. It did really well. The video did very well, and I think there were some good points to be made in the video. I also think there are some good points to be made in the MacBook wheel video, so I'll probably do a video about that soon. Derpy, our moderator, said 4 HomePods. How do you like it? Yeah, if you didn't see my picture on Instagram, I did buy 2 more HomePods. As you can see, there's 2 on either side of my TV, and there's 2 on this little, I don't even know what to call that, this little shelving unit right here. The reason why I bought them is because they were on sale. So they were on sale for $200 from Best Buy. Normally they're $300. But then I went to Best Buy's website and I saw that there are like open box returned HomePods that were selling for $177, which is even less than $200. It's almost like half off the original price. And like open box returns, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're probably just like new anyway, which they were. They're pretty much new. So I bought the $177 HomePods. I got 2 of them because I just wanted to see what it was like to listen to music or to watch a movie when you have like speakers all around you, because I couldn't really find much information online about someone who bought 4 HomePods, probably because it's a crazy thing to do. No one is going to spend $1,200 on HomePods. And it's also a crazy thing to do because it only supports stereo sound, stereo 2.0. It doesn't support surround sound 5.1. It doesn't support any of these like surround sound setups. So there's really no point in putting 2 HomePods in front of you and behind you, except to make the listening experience even, so that you don't feel like there's music coming from in front of you. You feel like the music is completely, literally around you. You know how you wear like headphones? The sound is very full because it sounds like it's coming from everywhere. This is the same exact thing. It just makes the music sound like it's coming from everywhere, which I really like. It makes movies really, really fun because you really feel like you're in the movie. So yeah, I really like it. I would not recommend paying full price for HomePods ever. I would never spend $300 on a HomePod. One of my HomePods, my very first one, I got for $100 on OfferUp. The second one I got for $180 on Facebook Marketplace. And then these two, I got each of them for $177. So I never paid even $200 for a HomePod. Oh. Tom Higgins. You're saying that you asked a question because you did send a super chat, but there wasn't a question with it. I'm trying to find your question. Why does my iPhone, this is Tom Higgins, why does my iPhone 8 Plus say trust this computer every time I plug it into my Mac? If I say trust or don't trust, it doesn't matter. It will say it every time. Ooh, man, that's a good question. Yeah, you should only have to put it in once. You should only have to tap trust once and then you should be good to go. That's a question for Google. Or if anyone in the chat has had that issue, just comment in the live chat and hopefully Tom will see it and we can help him out. Jumbo Flames Productions said, my parents offered me to get an 11 Pro Max now or wait for the 12. Which one should I choose? Well, what do you have right now? Do you have a phone that is not lagging, that you can still use for everything you need? If so, then wait. Unless you need a new phone now because either your Face ID isn't working or your screen is cracked and almost unusable, or the screen is only registering touch in a certain part of the screen. And again, I'm getting all these problems my brother had with his iPhone. My brother, okay, which if you want to see a picture of him, go to Instagram. He is on my Instagram. He had an iPhone 10. He bought it right when it came out, so he paid full price plus tax. That's $1,000 plus. And he dropped it from a roller coaster. Okay, he dropped it from a roller coaster, and he went to like a worker at the theme park or whatever, and they tried to. I think they tried to find it at that moment, but they couldn't because they can only look in certain areas while the roller coaster is running. I think they told him just wait until we close because then we can actually go inside the roller coaster area and look on the ground. And they said they couldn't find it. But then like 2 weeks later, they called my brother, Shane, and said, we found your phone. We found your iPhone 10. So he got that back. And then he ended up dropping it again, I think. Like he just dropped it from like a normal height. And when he dropped it from the roller coaster, it was completely fine. There was no cracks, no scratches. This thing was dropped from a roller coaster and it was fine. But then he dropped it from like normal height and it cracked the screen. Then he tried to get the screen replaced, but then Face ID stopped working. And then the screen wasn't registering all the touch input. It was a whole big deal. And then eventually he bought the 11 Pro Max. My point is, if you can use your iPhone for one more year because you're not having any of those severe crippling issues, then I would just wait for the iPhone 12 because I think it'll be worth the wait. Again, if I'm not able to answer your questions, guys, you can always join our Discord. It's free. Post your question there. I will answer it after this stream ends. Tanner said, you are so handsome. Those are the comments I like to see. Do you have a husband? I don't have a husband, but I have a boyfriend. If you guys want to see my boyfriend, go to my Instagram. Actually, did I post on my Instagram? Yeah, I did. Go to my Instagram, follow me there. You'll see my boyfriend. I'm trying to get more Instagram followers. You know what's weird is that like my YouTube channel has over 500,000 subscribers, but I was never doing like social media, like other social media, like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram while I was on YouTube. So now I accumulated like so many people on YouTube, but I'm never promoting my Instagram. So I have like 700 people. I have like 700 people on Instagram and like 500,000 people on YouTube. So I'm trying to like even that out a little bit because I actually just downloaded Instagram TV. I don't know if you guys are using that. My younger brother, he's 6 years younger than me, so he's 21. He's still, you know, he knows about all the new stuff that young kids are doing. Because as I'm getting older, I'm losing the hipness that I once had when I was in high school because you're just out of the know of what's cool among young people. He said that Instagram TV is not cool, but it's really easy to post videos there. So I'm hoping that if I can post my videos, at least my like slideshow videos. I don't know about my narration videos. I don't think those would work very well. They're too long. I just posted history of the iPhone on Instagram as like a full video. Hopefully that will help me accumulate like more of an audience on Instagram. Anyway. All right, we have a super chat from Corey Blackstock. Corey, thank you for that $5 super chat. Corey said, "Hey Greggy, love your channel." Not many people call me Greggy, like except my mom or my aunt or my cousin. Would you ever consider doing Apple-based podcasts in the future? You know, this is a very good question, Corey. Oh my God, Corey, this is cool. Oh my God. This is Corey. This is my sister's boyfriend. I'm sorry, that did not register until I looked at the name Corey again. Corey is my older sister's boyfriend. Okay, now I have to get my thoughts together again. Thank you, Corey. Thank you for watching. You're not getting those $5 back, by the way. That's actually a very good question, Corey. Will I ever do Apple-based podcasts in the future? I have thought about it. I was going back and forth, like, should I create like new content just for my podcast? It's going to take a long time for it to pay off, probably. It's going to take a long time to grow an audience, probably. But then I thought maybe it won't take a long time. Maybe I can promote it on my videos on YouTube, have people go over to the podcast to see extra content. The problem is a lot of my videos on YouTube are sponsored, like virtually every single one, except for my slideshow videos. So that means I cannot promote something other than the sponsor on those videos. It's part of the contract. So like I can't promote Instagram, I can't promote a podcast on a sponsored video. So it would be hard to drive traffic that way. I'm still trying to figure it out. Also, like what would I talk about on the podcast? What could I do that's interesting? I'm always open to suggestions, you guys. It's probably something that's going to happen. I do technically have a podcast. If you go to Apple Podcasts and you search Apple Explained, but it's only a re-upload of my videos from YouTube. So it's not like extra content. But thank you, Corey, for that donation, and thank you for watching. Golden Age Majestic, thank you for that $2 super chat. Golden said, "Do you eat snake, deer, elk, or any wild game?" I do not eat any. I've never had deer, I've never had elk, I've never had a snake. I didn't know snakes were edible. I stick to the standard Western, you know, beef, chicken, pork. It's pretty much it. Kinks and Curls, thank you for that $5 super chat. Kinks and Curls said, "Do you think the older iPhones will go into a vault, iPhone 2 and 3. They kind of do, actually. But Apple doesn't call it a vault. They just say the product is now obsolete, which means Apple no longer supports that product. And I think every year, a few products from like 8 or 9 years ago will be announced to be obsolete. I mean, they don't announce it. Apple doesn't really announce it. They just stop supporting it. And then tech outlets like 9to5Mac or Mac Rumors or people or YouTubers will say, oh, you know, this product is no longer supported anymore. It's now obsolete. And that's why, especially with certain products that are very meaningful in Apple's history. For example, the product I have in this display case right here is the original iPhone. The original iPhone came out 13 years ago, which means it's been obsolete for a very long time, for many years. I shouldn't say a very long time, for many years. And that makes the value of those products go up really high. If you go on eBay, you try to buy an original iPhone, it's going to be expensive. It's going to cost probably $500 to $1,000. Even the Apple book, I just made a video about the Apple, designed by Apple in California book that they came out with a couple years ago. It was only on sale for about 2 years. They discontinued it, and then it spiked in value. They retailed for $200 or $300 based on which book size you got. I got the $200 one. Now these books are going for $800 to $1,000 on eBay. So yes, that kind of thing does happen. Loser Trash Tips said, Greg, are you going to apply for Discord partnership when the partner forms are reopened and meet the requirements? I'm honestly not sure what that is. I never heard of a partner program with Discord. I'm not sure what that entails. Does that mean I have access to special features? What are the requirements? What are the benefits? I don't know, because I don't really do much on Discord. Steven Wittenberger said, who is going to buy Apple's $700 wheels? That's a very good question. I'm going to make a whole video about this. And it's a really good topic. If you didn't watch MKBHD's video, I think he just posted one yesterday. He bought the wheels, he unboxed them, and gave them like a short little review. It was kind of funny. But then he went into sort of an explanation of Apple's business strategy behind the $700 Mac Pro wheels. And it actually makes some sense, and it was pretty interesting. And I kind of want to make my own version of that video, but also include some historical evidence, because he didn't, I mean, there's a lot of examples actually of Apple releasing a luxury product that's not really designed for the consumer market, even if it was affordable. Like, your question was who would buy the Mac Pro wheels for $700? I would say it's the same people who would buy them if they were $25. Because the people buying Mac Pro wheels are a very small, specific niche market. And even if the wheels were $25, even if the wheels were $10, I think not much more people would be needing them. And it gives Apple a chance to be a premium company, a luxury company that can position themselves as a luxury hardware company, which is the image they want to maintain. Even as they release lower cost products, they release cheaper MacBooks, they release cheaper iPhones, they release cheaper iPads, they have to sort of offset that with some more higher end expensive products, a $1,000 stand for the Pro Display XDR, $700 wheels for the Mac Pro, even the $10,000 Apple Watch could be considered one of those products. It just keeps that image, the luxury image, which is very, very important to maintain, especially as a tech company when things change so quickly year to year. Golden Age Majestic, thank you for that $10 super chat. That's very generous. I really appreciate that, Golden Age Majestic. They said, the good thing about you is that unlike James Charles Gross, or Jeffree Star, is that you're not wearing high heels or being rail thin trying to be a drag queen. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. If I wanted to wear high heels, I would, and if I wanted to be a drag queen, I would. I wish I was rail thin, if I'm being honest. I would like to be thin. That's the truth. And I do like Jeffree Star. I watch some Jeffree Star videos. I have some problems with him, just things he's done in the past. James Charles, I do have a lot of respect for James Charles, especially after all that drama happened and he came back and he provided receipts and he backed up everything he said. And it turns out that he was being taken advantage of. I had a lot of respect for him. Mark Larimore, thank you for that $5 super chat. Mark said, I just ordered my first iPad Pro. How likely is it that Apple will release Final Cut for iPad, as the rumors say? It's likely that it will happen eventually, okay? That's all I can say. Because the problem is there are many like obvious things that Apple should be doing for their products that take them a really, really long time to actually implement. For example, copy and paste, that was probably one of the most obvious, most desired features on iOS in the early days when it wasn't available. And it took them several years to actually implement copy and paste on iOS, even though it seems like a very simple thing that they should be able to do fairly quickly, and that Android managed to do really quickly. That's similar to Final Cut Pro for the iPad. I mean, Apple themselves said the iPad Pro, it's more powerful than 95% of computers. So why isn't it running powerful desktop class software? Why do we have these stripped down versions of software that I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know. I mean, for example, Photoshop, it's not the full Photoshop. You don't have all the features of Photoshop. It's some of the features. And if they're going to make something like Final Cut for the iPad, it needs to have every single feature, every single capability that you have on desktop, or else there is no point of doing it on the iPad because you're going to be limited. So I'm really hoping, Mark, I am really hoping they make Final Cut, especially, I use Final Cut. I want it on my iPad. That would be incredible, especially now that they have a trackpad and keyboard. It only makes sense, right? And it took them a long time to make trackpad and keyboard support for the iPad. That probably should have happened about 5 years ago. So anyway, I do hope it happens soon. Alex Zabel, thank you for that $7 Canadian super chat. Alex said, why doesn't Apple open official stores in more countries? There are some obstacles to opening stores in foreign countries that you may not realize. If you want detailed information about this, I actually made a video talking about it. I forget what it was called. Oh, what was that video called? Why Apple? It had to start with why Apple. Half my videos start with why Apple. Something about India or China or the iPhone 11. Maybe something about that. I did go into the obstacles of Apple getting into India. Apple wanted to build their stores in India for many, many years, but it took them a while to get past the requirements the government of India had of if a company wants to open a store in India, a foreign company, they have to produce at least 30% of their product in India. And Apple tried to get around that, but they couldn't. And so what did Apple do? They started manufacturing in India. So it worked. And now they're planning on opening a store there. So there are things like that that you really have to get into to understand the details. And sometimes it's complicated that influence Apple's decisions on where they're going to build their stores. HY Studios, thank you for that $2.80 Canadian super chat. HY Studios said, why does my Apple Pencil stick to the bottom of my 7th gen iPad? I have no idea. I didn't even realize that was possible. 7th gen iPad. So you're using the first generation Apple Pencil. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It shouldn't be sticking to it. I mean, the Apple Pencil does have a weight in it on one side to make sure that it doesn't roll off a table. It'll eventually stop rolling and just stay in one spot. I don't know if that has something to do with it being magnetized to your iPad, or it just seems like it's getting stuck to the bottom of your iPad when really it's not. It's kind of weird. Never heard of that before. Golden Age Majestic, thank you for that $5 super chat. I appreciate that comment. Brian the Ant Lover said, when will Face ID come to MacBooks? I'm holding out on getting a new MacBook because I really want Face ID. I agree. I'm with you 100%. I really want Face ID on my MacBook. It'll be so much easier than even just Touch ID. Touch ID takes a second, especially on a MacBook. This is what I think. There is supposed to be a big change in MacBooks next year when they're transitioning to ARM, when they're introducing mini LEDs into the displays of the MacBook, when they are probably putting thinner bezels in the MacBook. I suspect that in that really big change that there's going to be a design change. I'm assuming that Face ID will be included. But there may be issues that we don't really think about. For example, like the front-facing camera on an iPhone is much better quality than the front-facing camera on a MacBook. People can, think you can guess why or why not. Why is the MacBook's camera so bad? But what I've read is the placement of the camera on a MacBook, it doesn't have depth. I mean, the chassis of the display on a MacBook is so thin, there's not much space for a high quality camera. Because if you don't know, like if you want a high quality camera module, it needs a lot of depth to add more lenses. That's why on an iPhone or on any smartphone, the camera module sticks out from the back of the phone because it needs more space to have better quality. That might be part of the problem. Now, if that's the case for the MacBook, will they be able to fit a Face ID camera system into the MacBook's chassis? I don't really know. I think eventually they will be able to. But I'm with you. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that'll be a great feature. Eric Hamilton, thank you for that $5 super chat. Eric said, make a history of iPad smart covers. I heard the first smart cover folding triangle style was inspired by something Johnny Ive saw in a magazine. I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of history behind the smart cover. There would have to be a story behind it. And I don't know if it's there. I'd have to look into it. Because I will say, that does happen. Like sometimes I'm thinking of a topic and I think that's not enough content to make a 10-minute video. For example, the history of the Fifth Avenue Apple Store. I did not think I would be able to make a 10-minute video out of literally one Apple Store. Like there's over 500 Apple stores. Can I really make a 10-minute video about just one of them? And once I started researching the history of that location, I was just amazed at how much content there was, at how much information, how much sort of drama and stories were associated with that location. And so I made History of the Fifth Avenue Apple Store. Then I was worried it may not do very well just because it's a very specific video. And if my videos are really specific, really niche, usually they don't perform very well to a wide audience. That video is one of my top 15 videos ever. It has almost, 1.5 million views. I never thought it would get over probably like 200,000 views. So yeah, it's just really hard to tell that kind of stuff. Infinity, PHX Nets said, thoughts on the $350 AirPods Studio coming? They seem to have parts that can be changed according to what I heard. Yeah, I've been following this product very closely. I'm really looking forward to it. I love my Bose QC35s. They're the over-ear headsets that Bose makes. The noise cancellation on those things is incredible. The sound quality is incredible. It's very comfortable. The new versions that Bose came out with are even more comfortable, although I didn't buy those because I'm waiting for Apple to make their version. And so far what I've heard is there's going to be a thin metal strap, and not strap, but thin metal headband. And then supposedly you'll be able to magnetically connect a like a cloth or leather pad to that headband and magnetically detach it so that you can switch it out to different styles or different materials. Also, you should be able to magnetically attach and detach the ear pads on the cup. And supposedly the cups are going to be like perfectly circular, have sort of like a retro design, which sounds interesting. There was an icon that leaked from a version of iOS that showed the AirPod Studio design, and it looks great. I'm really looking forward to it. It suggests that from what the rumors are saying, it matched the leaked icon, which is why I think these are legitimate rumors. And there was something else about those that I'm really excited about. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. I do think they're going to happen. I do think they're coming soon. I think actually Apple may announce them at WWDC. It could be coming as soon as next month. Because once we saw those AirPod Pro icons leak, the same thing happened to AirPods Pro. They leaked. And then they came out just, I think, a month or two later. It was very, very soon after. So I think we'll see a similar situation play out. FK97 said, hey Greg, why are you now showing your face in videos? Oh, hold on a second. I will answer that after I answer this super chat that I missed. Old Miser, thank you for that $5.50 UK super chat. Did I say Old Miser? Old Mayor. Old Mayor said, could you do a video about Apple's history in education? After iPad was opened for multiple users in 2016, this became huge, mass AirDrop, AirPlay, etc. He's talking about an iOS feature, or I guess iPad OS feature, where you could have multiple users per device. Yeah, I could do, I think I kind of did that. Oh, I did a video, history of the eMac. I did a video on the eMac, which was an education exclusive product. It was a version of the original iMac exclusively available to the education market. And I kind of get into the education history of Apple, but I could do an updated version. That might actually be interesting. I'm not sure how well that video would do, but it's definitely something I could do. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay, now to the other question that I said I would answer. I think it was FK97 said, why am I showing my face on my videos now? It's for a couple reasons. Oh, and speaking of which, I'm gonna do an unboxing with you guys. I think that'll be fun. I just got a shipment a couple days ago. I haven't opened it yet. I wanna unbox it in the live stream. And it has to do with my new setup now that I'm showing my face on my videos. Now, why did I do it? Number one, I was kind of getting burnt out, to be completely honest. I was making the same video over and over and over again. The editing process, it was really burning me out, and I wanted something new. I wanted my channel to go in a new direction, and I just figured there may be a few good reasons to start showing my face. Now, I never thought it was a bad idea to show my face. It's just that it's complicated to do. I mean, it's hard to explain unless you're trying to do it yourself, but you have to understand that I normally record my audio in my closet so that there's no echo. If I record a video out here and I'm picking up the audio in this living room, which is very echoey, that comes up in the audio really bad and the audio doesn't sound nearly as good. So I had to figure out a lot of solutions to problems like that I normally wouldn't have when I'm only recording my voice. Another reason is I think if viewers see the person who's talking, not only does it come off as a higher quality video because then you have A roll and you have B roll of the photos that I showed, because I do still show photos. But also, I think it's more personal. I think when you associate a person with a YouTube channel, you're more likely to follow, you're more likely to subscribe, you're more likely to be interested in what they're saying. Also, I think it's kind of the reason why we have almost 300 people watching these live streams right now. I mean, 2 weeks ago is when I posted my first video showing my face, and that live stream the next day got 300 people watching. And today we have over 260 people watching. Normally these live streams only get 150 people on a good day. So I've almost doubled just the viewership of the live streams, which I think is great, just from showing my face. I think that's part of the reason, because people know what this is now. Like before, if you were watching my videos and didn't know who I was, and then you just see this random person on a live stream, you're kind of like, why am I interested in this? Why is this being recommended? I don't even know who the heck that is. But now they know me from my videos, so they'll watch the live stream, they'll be interested in asking me questions. I just think it's the right direction for my channel. I think it makes sense for many different reasons. Now, people were saying that it's easier to edit. People were saying, oh, he's showing his face because it makes the video easier to edit. It does not. It probably adds about 2 to 3 hours of extra time recording and editing than my old videos, but I think they're higher quality videos. And I still haven't gotten it completely worked out, because if you notice, the #1 complaint about my new videos when I'm showing my face is that I'm not looking directly in the camera. I'm actually looking like about right here because I'm reading a script. So I'm reading a script and the camera is below my iPhone. My iPhone is my script. It's sort of on teleprompter mode. And then I have a camera, my Sony Mark III, recording the footage. And then I have my microphone underneath that recording the audio. So in order to solve the problem of looking off screen, in order to look right into the camera lens, I needed a teleprompter. So I bought a teleprompter, and that is what is in this box right off screen that I'm going to unbox with you right now. But first, let me get through this. Oh, I thought there was a super chat. Oh, there is a super chat. HY Studios, thank you again for your second super chat of $2.80 Canadian dollars and 80 cents. HY Studios said it's like magnetic to wear this. Oh, yeah, that could be. They're saying that the smart connector on the side of their iPad might be magnetic and attracting the Apple Pencil. That's very possible. Okay, let's unbox. Let's unbox this teleprompter. Some channels unbox iPhones, other channels unbox MacBooks. We're gonna unbox a teleprompter. This is the type of high quality, exciting content you can expect to receive from Apple Explained. Let me get my scissors. You know, this is actually a lot bigger of a box than I was expecting. I'm not sure why it's so big. The teleprompter shouldn't be too large. Can you guys see this? I'll try to make it visible. Again, this is the first time I'm opening this. I really don't know what to expect. This was like one of the cheapest teleprompters I could find. I was shocked how expensive teleprompters are. They were like $300, $400, $500. And I'm like, ooh, that's pricey for a teleprompter. It's not like I'm buying a camera. So this was $100 from bnh.com. Yeah, this was the size box I was expecting. And we're just going to see if it was too cheap. Maybe I went too cheap. We're about to find out. This says Glide Gear mini teleprompter for smartphones. Yeah, I wanted the little teleprompter because it's more portable. As you guys know, I go to Japan a lot, and I wanted a teleprompter I could take with me so I can continue making that format of video. And I use my smartphone, I use my iPhone as my teleprompter, so it would be perfect if I bought one of these kinds of teleprompters instead of the big version. So that's probably why it's cheaper, because it's smaller. Oh, look, it comes in this nice case. Look at that. That is cool. I did not expect that. This is really nice, actually. I can put this in my luggage quite easily. It's pretty compact. Someone said, why don't I use a teleprompter app? Yeah, I use my iPhone with a teleprompter app, but I need a setup, a teleprompter setup, so that I can put my camera behind the glass that reflects my iPhone screen so that I can look directly into the camera. That's the problem. All right, let's see here. All right, we have some instructions here. Looks fairly simple. Oh, there's a back. Okay, not so simple anymore. Okay. I don't know if I want to keep this when I travel. I probably should keep this foam just to keep it protected. All right. There's a little bracket here, probably to hold my phone. I'm not sure how to take this thing out. How do you... Oh, there we go. It just pops right out. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Okay, here we go. This is a teleprompter. And, all right, that's where you put the camera up in here, and then it goes behind this little glass right there. I'm supposed to, there should be a way for me to, does that? Oh, maybe that's how it works. I think, oh, there we go. Boom. There we go. So see, this is how it works. You got this on a tripod right here. A tripod goes right into here. And then you put the camera through the back with oh yeah, see that? This is the camera right here. Boom, 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 boom. And then my phone goes down here. And then what happens is when you're looking at it straight on, you're looking into the camera lens because the camera is where my finger is. But down here is my phone lying flat. That's the light from the screen of my iPhone is going to reflect off this glass, and it's going to be projected. It's like a projection right onto the glass, and I can see it and read the text while I'm looking directly into the camera lens, which is going to be really exactly what I need for my videos. And hopefully I can stop getting those comments of people complaining. Okay, I like it. It actually feels very sturdy. It feels very sturdy. I don't think it's gonna break or anything. Let me just screw these little things back in. All right, so that was the unboxing. If you ever wonder what a little teleprompter looks like. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Okay, we have a super chat from Daigen57. Daigen57, thank you for that $10 super chat. Wow, I just realized how much it was. Thank you very much for that $10 super chat. Daigen said, great unboxing, thank you. Once you master the technical aspects of teleprompter video recording yourself and your videos, it will be an awesome change. Your voice is already like butter. Thank you very much. I'm really hoping that it will be an awesome change. I'm hoping that it'll be the right move for my channel. Yeah, because I'm putting a lot of work into it. Alex said, love the outfit today. Thank you. Oh, there's a story behind this outfit, actually. I just had dinner with my family, and I was wearing, I don't know if you guys can tell, but underneath this shirt is my Easton Town Center t-shirt. Now, if you don't watch these streams very much, then you probably don't know, but I wear this t-shirt often. I wear this t-shirt often, and then I have another Apple t-shirt that instead of Easton Town Center, it says Polaris Fashion Place. These are two Apple Store locations in my town of Columbus, Ohio. So my mom was like, Greg, 2 weeks ago during your live stream, you wore this shirt. And then last week you wore the Polaris shirt. And this week you're wearing the Easton shirt again. People aren't going to know the difference one week to the other because you keep wearing the same shirts over and over. So wear something different. And I said, okay, I am going to put on a fancy, a fancy dress shirt. I don't think it's really a dress shirt. But this is the video that I wear in the videos that I've been making where I'm showing my face. So, all right, I'm gonna answer one more question. We're already going on 10 o'clock p.m. Again, if I didn't answer your question, make sure you join our Discord server. You can go there, post your question, one per person, and then I will be there after the stream ends. I will answer everyone's question in a Q&A video that I post exclusively on Discord. Witcher Village said, why does it take a long time for Apple to add the obvious features? It's because Apple really, really wants to make sure they execute it correctly. I think I remember Craig Federighi, which is the president of software, I think. He said Apple considered for years how to implement copy and paste because they wanted to do it in a way that was intuitive, more intuitive than the way Android did it. And I think that goes with a lot of things that Apple does. For example, the trackpad. They could have added trackpad support 2 years after the original iPad, but I'm sure they wanted to make sure it made sense, that there was a reason to have trackpad support. That it was an intuitive way to interact with iOS rather than just your typical cursor that you would find on macOS. So Apple is just the type of company to really consider and be very thoughtful about every last detail. It's a good thing and it can also be an annoying thing. That's why it takes so long for them to do things. Because when it comes to Android or when it comes to Google or Microsoft, it's like bing, bang, boom. How many features can we add? How quickly can we add it? I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if it's annoying to use. I just want as many features as possible because then we can add it to the spec sheet and then it'll look good on the sales floor. That is the approach Apple has never took and they will never take. That is not Apple's philosophy. And I think part of that philosophy is the reason why it takes them so long to do things that seem obvious. All right, guys, it is 10:02 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for following me on Instagram or joining Discord. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for watching my videos. Again, if you haven't joined Discord, make sure to do it because then you can ask an extra question. I will be there after the stream ends. Thank you, Daniel, our moderator, and thank you, Derpy, our other moderator. I really appreciate you guys helping out with the streams. You guys are doing a really good job. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.